Welcome to the eWay-CRM Academy series. I'm Ernest Cory, and today we're going to look at the day-to-day usage of our Companies and Contacts module in eWay-CRM Desktop. We're going to start in the classic Outlook for Windows, and you'll see that eWay-CRM Desktop is an add-in, giving you all of your CRM modules in a brand new ribbon that lives inside of Outlook. As we see here in this example, I've got an email from a guy named Bob Smith. He's looking to work with us and asking for a telephone call. Looking over here in the eWay-CRM online preview panel, I see that Bob Smith is not yet in my database. Let's go about adding him into the system. If I'm taking an incoming phone call, I'm going to need to come over here to New, add a new contact, and do everything manually. But with this email living in my inbox, we can save you a few steps. Right-clicking on that email is going to give you all of your eWay-CRM actions. Maybe we want to deal with this later in the week. We could punt it by converting it to a task. Maybe we wanted to drop this directly into our sales pipeline. We could convert it to a deal. But as today's focus is on contacts and companies, let's convert Bob to a contact. As we see here in the eWay-CRM contact card, there's a few things to note. First, this form is completely customizable, so whatever data you need to gather, we can create custom fields and design these forms to fit your needs. The next thing to note here are going to be my tabs. eWay-CRM will file everything in the appropriate tab, so when you open the contact, you can quickly navigate to where you're going. We don't have much here yet, we just have this one email. But as we continue to communicate with Bob, we're going to fill this up. The final thing to note here, probably the most important tab we have, is our hub. Our hub is going to compile all of the tabs into one spot, so I can come here and get a chronological history, a snapshot of everything that my team has done with Bob Smith. Again, just the email here, but this will fill. I guess now is a good time to point out, when you save an email into eWay-CRM, you're saving a full copy of that email. So even if it's deleted inside of your Outlook, you can come back next month, next year, and still reply to it. This is doubly useful if, say, someone leaves your team and you need to pick up the communication. Even though it was sent by them, you can come in and still reply to that email. Looking here at the body of the email in the note field, you'll see Bob's asking for a telephone call. So let's go to Add New, Journal, and take some notes on that call. My journal tool is for phone calls, for meeting notes, anywhere you want a timestamp letting you know when this conversation happened. The type here is going to be a call, and the subject will be Call with Bob. I get Bob on the phone. It's an amazing conversation. We cover quite a bit. But we also find out that he is the newest employee at ABC Enterprises. And I need to follow up next week. Let me save this. And so that I don't forget this follow-up call, let's, on top of the journal, add a task. So here is my task. The subject can be check in with Bob. I don't type well with an audience. And we'll give it a due date of next Monday. We can set a reminder. So if this hasn't been done by Monday morning at 9 a.m., Outlook's going to give me a pop-up, very similar to those calendar pop-ups you get, letting me know the task is due. I also have the ability to change the solver. We can delegate this to anybody on my team. In this case, let's give it to my colleague Dan, and we'll save that task. Right now, Dan's getting an email letting him know he's been assigned this task to check in with Bob. Dan wasn't on the telephone call, but when he opens up the task, he realizes that's not a problem because he sees there's a journal linked, which he can open up and get all of the notes he needs to have that call with Bob. It's really convenient. We're just one big spiderweb linking everything together. One final note on tasks while we're here. If you've ever assigned a task in regular Outlook, you know that there's no notifications when Dan solves that task. There's really no accountability. eWay-CRM, we want that oversight. So, although we've assigned this to Dan, I still own the task. So I have the ability to still come in here, change the due date, give it to somebody else, mark it complete. I'll also get notified when Dan completes this task. Let's save and close it. And as we can see here in the hub, we're filling up the contact Bob Smith. We have that task and that journal that go along with the email, all living here inside of the hub. We also know Bob's company. Bob is the newest employee, as he said, at ABC Enterprises. So let's give Bob a company and save this. Companies are something that don't exist in Outlook. Here in eWay-CRM, though, we can start combining people that work together and now using the company as a net to gather all of their communications. So if I want to see my team's communication with just Bob Smith, I can go to Bob Smith, the contact. But maybe I want to see our communication with all 3 people at ABC Enterprises. Give myself a fuller picture before walking into a meeting. Now Bob's communications, along with Emma and Logan, will all be stored here at the ABC Enterprises company level. It's a really nice feature. So back to Bob the contact here. Let's thank him for his time on that call earlier. We're going to go to add new email. We live in Outlook, so we're going to give you an Outlook email. The subject will be, "Thanks for your time." And I'll hit send. And this is an important feature of eWay-CRM. This is our sent email pop-up. When you have automatic email saving turned on, all incoming emails from your contacts automatically get saved to the email. All of your outgoing emails, we're going to prompt you, asking if you want to save these emails inside of the CRM. Superior item. If I'm working with Bob on a project or a deal, a sale, I can also assign this email to be linked to that project or sale. Categories. Some people like categorizing their emails. Maybe I'm sending Bob a proposal. I could select a category proposal. And follow-up. This allows me to set a follow-up task. Again, if I'm sending Bob a proposal, perhaps I want to create a task to check in with him in the future to get his thoughts on that proposal I sent him. I'm going to hit send and save. That email goes out and it will be saved inside of the CRM. Next thing to talk about here, and as you can see here in the email tab, "Thanks for your time," has been saved inside of the CRM. Next thing to look at are categories. Categories make it really easy to start grouping your contacts together, whether it's for referrals, marketing lists. We make categories very simple. New categories are built in about 10 seconds, and then they're available universally. So let's give Bob the category of client, and let's put Bob on our Christmas list. I can go to the Categories tab and see all of the categories assigned to Bob, and shortly we'll look at how we can use these to build reports to start grouping our contacts together. Now's probably a good time to go look at that. Let's minimize Bob the contact, and if we refresh our preview panel, you'll see now that Bob Smith has a fuller picture. We have his categories, we can immediately open his contact, we can see all of his information, as well as the communications we've had, as well as upcoming tasks. Let me click here on the module Contacts, and here you'll see my list of contacts inside of the CRM. Traditionally, these are going to be sorted A to Z because that's probably the most convenient. But as we continue to add data into the CRM, we can start filtering these contacts based on what we need. For instance, job title. Maybe we want to just filter out the CEOs in my contact list. This little filter icon allows us to filter out just the CEOs. Simple. We can remove that. As you build these filters, we give you the ability to start saving those views. We'll give you some pre-built reports in the Views button here, but you can also start saving them. Maybe we want to look at contacts by last activity. When was the last time I had a journal or an email? You'll see here that Simona hasn't been touched in 3 years. Certain industries, you want to touch your contacts more frequently than every 3 years. She's probably due a phone call. Or maybe we want to look at our contacts by category. As you can see here, Bob Smith lives in the Christmas list category where we put him earlier. Cool thing about categories is we don't have to open up the contact to assign them. They are assigned via right-click as well. Right-click on Bob, we can give him that new category, contacts name Bob, and that populates right here. You guys live in Outlook, we live in Outlook. So much of your Outlook navigation is done via the right-click. As you explore eWay-CRM, I encourage you to right-click a lot. You're going to find a lot of shortcuts that make working with our software so much easier. When we do find a view that we love, we can come over here, save the view, and then you have the choice of keeping it for yourself or making it available for your whole team. Finally, let's look at tasks. If you'll remember, we assigned that task to Dan Coates here to check in with Bob. My task list, you can see not only the tasks you need to solve, but also the ones you've assigned to others, giving you truly that full picture of everything going on. We can mark this complete for Dan. Let's right-click on it, mark it complete, and remove it from my task list. That's a quick overview of all things contacts and companies inside of eWay-CRM. Hopefully it's useful in getting you started with our software. And also be sure to check out the other videos we have on deals and also projects and eWay-CRM online. I hope you have a great day. Cheers.